etc. So, dear student, I Rakesh Jain from Gyanvihar University. Today, I am going to teach you about the bridges concept, and we will derive the formula for the Wheatstone bridge, and later on see all kind of different kind of bridges. First of all, the bridge is a component measuring instrument which is used to measure certain value of components. For example, unknown value of a resistance we want to find out, we can find out with the help of bridge. If we want to find out the wire resistance, what is the resistance of a wire, then we can easily find out with the help of meter bridge. If we want to find out the want to check the frequency, then we can find out the value of frequency with the help of Wien bridge. If you want to check the inductance, we can use Colpitt's bridge. Then if you want to check the self inductance of a coil, we can use the Hayes bridge. Then we want to check the capacitance, then we can use the Setu bridge, sharing bridge. So there are different kind of bridges. So let's start with the bridges. Just see this MS Paint file. Our today topic is related with the bridge. Actually, a bridge is a four-arm device which is used to measure component. Which is a four-arm device which is used to measure component. So we can say it is a component measuring instrument. It is a component measuring instrument. Like the multimeter, we can check the AC value, AC voltages, DC voltages. Like them, we can check the components value with the help of this bridge method. Okay, there are different kind of bridges. Actually, bridges can be categorized into two different category. One is AC bridge and one is DC bridge. Bridge can be categorized as into two category. Bridge can be categorized into two different category. One is AC bridge and one is DC bridge. One is AC bridge and the second one is DC bridge. And the second one is DC bridges. Okay, AC bridges are those which use AC power supply for their to operate them. DC bridges are those which use DC power supply to operate them. AC bridges uses the detector. The most important detector to use the AC bridges is headphones, and the detector which we use in the DC bridges are probably the galvanometer. AC bridges uses AC power supply and headphones are used as detector. AC bridges uses AC power supply to operate them, and headphones are basically used as a detector element. This is the key term for the AC bridges. And if you talk about the DC bridges uses DC power supply and galvanometer used as detector. So this is the most important difference between the AC bridges and DC bridges. If you talk about the further classification of the AC bridges and DC bridges, we can classify them in this manner, that AC bridges can be categorized in different group. like Wien Bridge, Sharing Bridge, DC2 Bridge, Hayes Bridge, Colpitts Bridge, and so on. And DC bridges can be categorized as, we can see, generally the meter bridge and Wheatstone bridge. So AC bridges are of different type, like Wien Bridge, Sharing Bridge, Colpitts Bridge, Hayes Bridge, DC2 Bridge. Like these are different category for the AC bridges. And for the DC bridges, there are Wheatstone Bridge. The second one we can say meter bridge. And in both the bridges category, there is etc. More bridges are also for example, Campbell Bridge is also a AC bridge like this one. Okay, so in our syllabus, first of all, we should talk about the DC bridges. Here, the different bridges are used for the different functions. For example, Wheatstone bridge is used to measure the unknown resistance value. It is used to measure unknown value of resistance. Is used to measure unknown value of resistance. Like meter bridge is used to measure, it is used to measure the value of a wire. Used to measure resistance of a conductor, because wire is a conductor. So conductor, or we can say wire. Similarly, these AC bridges are used for the different functionality. For example, this Wien bridge is used to measure the frequency. I directly write down frequency so you understand that it is used to measure for frequency. Sharing bridge is used to measure the capacitance. Hayes bridge, Colpitts bridge is used to measure the inductance. Like similarly, etc. Like similarly, Hayes bridge and DC2 bridge are further used for Hayes bridge for self-inductance of a coil, and DC2 bridge is used to measure the capacitance also. So these are different kind of bridges which can be categorized on the basis of their use. Now, first of all, we should start today for the Wheatstone bridge and the derivation required for the Wheatstone bridge. So I just start now with the Wheatstone bridge. Now see this. Now today we start with the Wheatstone bridge. Our first bridge which we start is Wheatstone bridge. Till now, what you understand, what you know about the Wheatstone bridge, that it is a DC bridge, use a galvanometer as a detector. It is a DC bridge, uses galvanometer as detector. Is a DC bridge which uses galvanometer as a detector. What the next thing which you already know, that it is used to measure or find unknown value of resistance. Is used to measure the unknown value of resistance. Okay, now we start our journey with the circuitry. So see very carefully the circuit diagram of a Wheatstone bridge. It consists of the four arms. It consists four arms because bridges consist generally the four arms, in which three arms are the known value of resistance, in which we know what is the value of resistance in the three arms, and in the fourth arm the unknown value of resistance is connected, or a resistor is connected whose value we want to find out with the Wheatstone bridge. We don't know the value previously. Okay, among those three arms, which whose value we already understand, one arm consists the variable resistance, so we can change the resistance by sliding it. Okay, so now see, now see, it consists of four arms, in which three arms consist non-value of resistor, and the fourth arm consists unknown resistance whose value we want to find out from this bridge. Okay, so it consists of four arms, in which three arms consist the non-value of resistance, and the fourth arm is used to connect the unknown value of resistance, so that we will find out the value of that resistance with the help of this Wheatstone bridge. Okay, now what is the circuit diagram for a Wheatstone bridge? So see very carefully. First of all, it consists of four arms. So one arm is this one, in which one resistor is connected. That's fine. Okay, now the second arm is this one, in which the second resistance is connected. Okay, now the third arm is this one, in which one more resistance is connected. Okay, and the fourth arm is this one, in which the unknown resistance is connected. So the circuitry is completed when we connect a detector element in between them, and we know that which one is the detector element, a galvanometer. So for the galvanometer I use the abbreviation as G. So G for galvanometer is connected. Yeah. Okay, so these are four arms, 1 2 3 4, in which a galvanometer is connected. Now one resistance is variable, so the variable resistance symbol is this one. Okay, variable means we can change the value of this one with the help of sliding it. So this R1 resistance, let's suppose this resistance is my R1. This resistance is my R2 resistance. Okay, this resistance is, let's suppose, my R3 resistance, and this resistance is my R4 resistance. Okay. Now let's suppose I have these four value, sorry, Rx is my unknown resistance. Let Rx is my unknown resistance. So I have these four resistances, in which three resistances value I know, and the fourth resistance Rx I want to find out. I don't know what is the value of Rx. I want to find out the value of Rx. Now, because as I have already been told, first of all, bridge consists of four arms. So see, there are four arms. One is of R1, one is of R3, one is of R2, and one is of Rx. So four arms is there. I have already been told you about that the detector element for the DC bridges are galvanometer. So see, here galvanometer, that is abbreviation I used as a G, is connected as a in the circuitry. So this is galvanometer. One more thing which I taught you is DC bridges consist of DC supply. So let's see the DC supply is connected over here. Yes, so this DC supply is connected, in which plus sign is upper side. So now this is a circuit of or Wheatstone bridge. This is a circuit of Wheatstone bridge. Now we have to derive the formula for the Wheatstone bridge. First of all, remember that whenever current enters, current flow from the minus to plus terminal of a battery. So current will be entered from here. Okay, I change the color so you will easily understand. So let current will be entered from here. Okay. It will reach up to here and then divide into two parts, one at this side, one at this side. Okay, current enters from here and they divide at this part and this part. Okay, so let the current in this R1 resistance which flow in this direction is I1. Let the current flow from this direction is I1. Okay. The current flow from this I3 resistance is current flow from this R3 resistance is let I3 in this direction because it comes from the upper side. So this current is I3. Okay. Now let the current from this Rx, now again this I3 will come here and goes to here, and in galvanometer let the current in this Rx resistance is Ix, and again this I1 current comes here, goes to galvanometer, and let the current of this galvanometer is Ig, and the resistance of this galvanometer let Rg. Let Rg is because we know that each device, each wire consists of some resistances. Each wire, each device consists some resistance. So let the galvanometer current is Ig and the resistance of the galvanometer is Rg. So I just write down the current in the galvanometer as Ig and the resistance as Rg. Now the current from this I1 current also divide into this R2 resistance in this direction, right? And let the current is I2. Okay. So this is the whole current dividation in this Wheatstone bridge. Once again, I am showing you the same thing. Kindly see very carefully. Now see very carefully. Because the current flows from minus to plus terminal of a battery, so the current will be flow from here. Okay, now it will divide into this part and this part. Okay, let the current in this R1 resistance which flow in this direction, and the current from I3 resistance flows in this direction. Okay, let the, because the name of the resistance is R1, so I put the name as I1. Okay, and because the current in this R3 resistance is, because the name of this resistance is R3, so I just put the name of the current as I3. The current from this R2 resistance will be in this direction. Okay, and because the current I3 comes here, so it will goes also into Rx with some differ value. Let the current from this R2 is, let the current from this R2 resistance is I2, and the current from this Rx resistance is Ix. Now this is a galvanometer, so the value of the current, this I1 comes here, and also some current will flow from the galvanometer. Let the current is Ig, and let the galvanometer resistance is my Rg. Okay, now this is the circuit diagram for the AC bridge. Now see very carefully, we just apply the Kirchhoff law. We just apply the Kirchhoff law in closed path. How many closed path you are able to see in this resistance circuitry? There are two closed path. What I want to see, this one, this R1, this R3, and this galvanometer place a closed path. I am talking about this R1, this R3, and this galvanometer create a closed path. This create a closed path. This one is my closed path. So let, this is my first loop. This closed path is also known as loop. This closed path is known as loop. Remember, in any closed path, the total value of voltage is equal to zero. This is known as Kirchhoff voltage law. What is Kirchhoff voltage law? You may already been learned in case of class number 10th or class 11, 12th, or in the first semester, that what is the Kirchhoff law? In any closed path, the total voltage is zero. So, and what is the formula for the voltage? As I have already been taught you in Ohm's law, that V is equal to IR is the Ohm's law. Voltage is equal to current multiplied by resistance is my Ohm's law. And the second closed path is this one, this R2 resistance. So I am talking about this one, this R2 resistance, which is variable one, this RX resistance, this RX resistance, and this galvanometer, the same galvanometer create a second closed path. This one is my second closed path. So I put second here. Okay. So there are two closed paths. One is at the upper side, which is made from R1, R3 and galvanometer. And the second closed path by galvanometer, RX and R2 resistance. What is the most fundamental concept behind a Wheatstone bridge? That at the condition of balance, the most important term for the balance condition of any bridge means the galvanometer current value is zero. This is known as a balance condition, because at the both point the voltages are equal. Because at the both point the voltages are equal. This is known as the balance condition. So I just write down balance condition is what? Balance condition is when the galvanometer show the null deflection. So galvanometer show the null deflection, it means galvanometer current is equal to zero. It will automatically happens. Okay, when we change the linearly the R2 value of resistance, that is a variable resistance, automatically the galvanometer current at one extent it will be equal to zero. The current value is zero. That is known as null condition. It means, let's suppose these 2 points are known as, let's suppose I just put the name of these terminals. Let this terminal name is my B terminal. This okay, change the color so you will understand easily. So let this terminal is B, this terminal is my C. Okay, this upper terminal is my A, in this lower, and this lower terminal as D. Okay, so what is the balance condition? Balance condition is that the voltage probability at the B terminal and the C terminal are equals. So if both the terminal are at equal voltages, we know that the current value is zero. So the galvanometer current is zero. So see very carefully during the time of balance condition. From here the I1 current enters. From here the I1 current enters. But here the galvanometer current is zero. There is no current in the galvanometer at the balance condition. It means this I1 current completely flow here, not divided into two parts. So if the during the time of balance condition, I1 and I2 are not two different things. They are actually same. So I1 equal to I2 will happen at the balance condition, because galvanometer current will be zero automatically. Once again, I am teaching you the same thing. Kindly see very carefully with this green color. What I want to say, this I1 current enters from here, no problem. Okay. Now it will go, it will divide further at this point, at point B, into Ig and I2. But we say that at the null condition, at the balance condition, galvanometer current is zero, Ig is equal to zero. It means this I1 totally from R2 terminal also. It means I1 and I2 are not two different current at the balance condition. At the balance condition, Due to lights are cut off, there is a little bit interruption in between. Now once again see this MS Paint file. Yes, a little bit interruption was there. Now continue. I'm continuing. Yes. So did at the balance conditions, it means I1 is equal to I2 because the total current will be flows from here. Now see once again from this green color what I want to say. The current I1 enters from here because there is no current in the galvanometer. It means it will flow completely from R2 also. So it means I1 equal to I2 at the time when galvanometer current is zero. And what is the time when galvanometer current is zero? That is a balance condition. So at the balance condition, this I1 is equal to I2. Similarly, at this side, this current I3 flow from this R3 terminal, and there is no current from this galvanometer because balance condition means galvanometer current is zero. It means this flow completely from this Rx terminal also. So I3 and Ix are not two different things at the balance condition. We can say I3 is equal to Ix. I3 is equal to Ix. Don't be confused with that. I1 is equal to I2. Why it happens? Because galvanometer current Ig equal to 0 at the balance condition. I3 is equal to Ix happens. Why? Because a galvanometer current Ig equal to 0. Okay. Now I am writing down the mesh equations, the loop equations. Now see Kirchhoff equations. Now see. I just write down the equation for the upper side. I just write down the Kirchhoff voltage law. Now I am going to writing down the Kirchhoff law. Writing the Kirchhoff's voltage law in one and second loop. Loop means the closed path. So now I am going to writing down the Kirchhoff voltage law in first and second loop. Now see very carefully. What is the Kirchhoff voltage law? Kirchhoff voltage law states that the total voltage in any closed path is equal to 0. The total voltage in any closed path is equal to 0. Now we are going to writing down the Kirchhoff voltage law for the upper path. Now see, the upper path is what? This R1 resistance, this R3 resistance, and this galvanometer. This is the upper path. This is the upper loop. This is a closed loop. Okay, so this is my upper part. Okay, now the different value of resistances are, this name is R1, you kindly don't worry if you will not understand. We will again and again will repeat this topic so you will understand. So now what are the directions of the current? As in the circuitry, this direction is I1, this current is I3, and this current is Ig. And this resistance of the galvanometer I choose it as Rg. I select that, let's suppose the resistance of this galvanometer, because each device consists of some resistance, so Rg. Okay, now I am going to write down the Kirchhoff voltage law for the first, and this is my first circuitry, this is the upper part. Now how we can write down the Kirchhoff voltage law? What is Kirchhoff voltage law? That the total voltage in a closed path is equal to 0. It means we have to find out what is the total voltage in these three arms, R1 arm, R3 arm, and the third galvanometer arm, we can say. So what is the voltage? How we can find the voltage? If we know the value of current, if we know the value of resistance, we know the Ohm's law is what? V is equal to IR. The voltage is equal to current multiplied by the resistance. Okay. Let choose any direction of our journey. Let I start from this point. Let I start from this point. I use the clockwise direction. So I will go first here in this direction. Then I will go clockwise. Then I will see here. Then I will see this third arm voltage as here. So all the three arms voltages sum is equal to 0. Now see. with this red color. Now I go to here. What is the voltage in this? I choose the clockwise direction. So if any current in anti-clockwise direction, in opposite direction, we have to use the voltage value with negative sign. If the current direction is same in my direction, then I use the positive sign. If the current direction is opposite, I use the clockwise direction as my current. Okay, I use the clockwise direction. If let's suppose I am coming here, but some current coming here, it means opposite, because I have to go here, but this current both the directions are opposite, so I have to use minus sign with that. Kindly see very carefully this one. Kindly see very carefully. So here for the first arm, that is R3 is my resistance and I3 is the current. So what is the voltage from the Ohm's law? The voltage in this is I3 R3, because current multiplied by resistance is the voltage. Now the next one, I have to go here. See very carefully, because I use the clockwise direction, I have to go in this direction. But see, the original direction of this Ig is opposite. The direction of this current Ig is opposite to my direction. It is flow here. So it means I have to use negative sign for that. I have to use negative sign for that. That's why I use negative. Then what is the current? Current is Ig. And what is the resistance? Resistance is Rg. Okay. First, let me complete this. Then we will discuss the questions you will arise in front of me. Any question, anything related to this Wheatstone bridge, anything. So see very carefully. Now the third direction. I am going in this direction. My direction is clockwise, so I am going here first, then here, then I have to go in this direction. But the original current I1 direction is opposite to me. This direction is opposite to me. It means I have to use again the negative sign. I have to use again the negative sign. So minus, what is the current? Current is I1, and what is the resistance? Resistance is R1. So the total voltages of 3 arms is equal to 0. This is equation number 1 according to the Kirchhoff voltage law, that the total voltages in any closed path is equal to 0. So this is the total voltages in this closed path. I think you may understand. If not, then see very carefully. Once again, we will see this one in the lower path. Now once again in the lower path. So what is my lower path? See very carefully. This lower path, this second loop is this one. A galvanometer is there. A resistance, variable resistance R2 is there. And a Rx resistance is there. A resistance R2 is here, which is a variable one. A resistance Rx is here. And the galvanometer resistance is Rg. Now see very carefully. If you understand the Kirchhoff voltage law in this, then we will easily complete it. Now the directions of the current which is given in our circuitry is Ig in this direction. Okay, Ix in this direction. Okay, and the third current I2 in this direction. See the circuitry, I just draw it from this circuitry only. I just draw this one at here to show you that what I am going to do. This current is I2. Now see very clearly. I again use the clockwise direction for my journey. This one, then this one, clockwise, and then this one. This is clockwise direction. Okay. If any current is in opposite direction, I have to use it with negative sign. So see very carefully. With this green color, I am going to show you. I am going here first of all. Now in this. My current in this direction, this green color, and Ig current is also in the same direction. So I just write down with the positive sign. Ig Rg voltage. What is the voltage? because this is also a closed path. So according to the Kirchhoff voltage law, the total voltages in any closed path is equal to 0. The total voltages in any closed path is equal to 0. So how we can write down the different voltages in these three arms? Current multiplied by the resistance. So what is the current in this? First, Ig is the current, and what is the resistance? We choose a resistance of the galvanometer as Rg. Now I am going here. Now I am going here in this direction. Okay, my direction is this one, and the given current direction Ix is also this one. See this one. This current Ix direction is also the same. So I again write down with the positive sign. Ix Rx plus Ix Rx. And then the last one, the third one, my current direction should be clockwise, that's why this one. But here the I2 direction is opposite. I2 direction flows in this direction, so they are opposite to each other. They are opposite to each other. So we have to write down the voltage, that is current multiplied by resistance, with the negative sign. So minus I2 R2, right? And this total voltage is equal to 0. This is equation number 2. Yes, this is equation number 2. Okay, very good. Now these are the two equations we just write down with the help of the circuitry, because the circuitry consists of two closed path, and we know that the Kirchhoff voltage law states that the in a closed path the total voltage is equal to 0. And how we can find out the total voltage? Just the current multiplied by the resistance. Just the current multiplied by the resistance. With the help of Ohm's law, we just write down each voltages in different arms, and sum of those voltage equal to 0. The positive and negative sign depends that if we use the clockwise direction, and if original current flow in anti-clockwise opposite direction, okay, then we have to write down this original current with the negative sign. Then so current multiplied by resistance with the negative sign. Okay, now see what will happen. What will happen at the balance condition? What will happen at the balance condition? What will happen at the balance condition? Now see, with this purple color I am going to teach you what will happen at the balance condition. We know that first the balance condition states that the galvanometer, the voltages at this B terminal and the voltages at the voltage difference between B and C terminal is equal to 0, or we can say the B terminal voltage and the C terminal voltage will be equal to each other. It means there will be no current flow. There will be no current flow in this resistance. There will be no current flow in this galvanometer. Okay, so Ig equal to 0. So I just put this Ig value equal to 0 into equation number 1 and equation number 2. In equation number 1, and also put this Ig equal to 0 in equation number 2. So when I put this value in equation number 1 and 2, what will happen? I3 R3 minus 0 will be happen, because Ig is equal to 0, minus I1 R1 equal to 0. Minus I1 R1 is equal to 0. So we can say this as a I3 R3 is equal to I1 R1, because Ig is 0. So I3 R3 is equal to I1 R1. Okay, so we can say when we put this Ig equal to 0 in first equation, then I3 R3 minus 0 minus I1 R1 equal to 0. So that is I3 R3 minus I1 R1 equal to 0. So we can say I3 R3 is equal to I1 R1. When this negative I1 R1 goes to the right hand side, it will becomes positive. So I3 R3 is equal to I1 R1. Let this is my equation number 3. Okay, now see very fast, and then we will complete all derivation. Now again I put Ig equal to 0 in this second equation, in this equation. Okay, so Ig Rg, so Ig Rg is 0. Then Ix Rx, so Ix Rx minus I2 R2, that is equal to 0. that is equal to 0. It means we can say when I move this I2 R2 to the right hand side, what will happen? When I just move this Ix I2 R2 negative I2 R2 at the right hand side, it will becomes positive. So Ix Rx is equal to I2 R2. So this is my equation number 4. Now see very carefully. Okay. Now what I want to do, now see here, I am going to teach you right now at here, at this space. Okay, because this okay, now see at this space what I am going to do. I just do equation number 3 divided by equation number 4. I just do equation number 3 divided by equation number 4. Equation 3 divided by equation number 4. So what will happen? I3 R3 here, equation number 3 is I3 R3 divide by Ix Rx, divide by Ix Rx. See very carefully, divide by Ix Rx. The left hand side will be divided by the left hand side. That is equal to, so that is equal to the right hand side divided by the right hand side. So I1 R1 divided by I2 R2, I2 R2. Okay, now see what the remaining two things we just put. See what is the second term. Because of the voltages polarity are equal at the B and D, I1 is equal to I2, I1 is equal to I2. Okay, so I just put this I1 is equal to I2 here in this. So I just put this I1 is equal to I2 at this right hand side. So what will happen? This I1 R1 and I2 R2, because I1 equal to R2, so this I1 will be cancelled out from I2. I just write down I1 is equal to I2. Okay, and that's why the right hand side will becomes this two terms will be cancelled out. These two terms will be cancelled out. This term will be cancelled out from this term because I1 is equal to I2. Okay, now one more thing is this I3 is equal to Ix. This I3 is equal to Ix. Okay, so just put this I3 is equal to Ix here. At this side, I3 is equal to Ix. I just write down here so you will remember what I am going to do. I3 is equal to Ix. Because I3 is equal to Ix, so these two values will be cut out from each other. This I3 will be cancel out from this Ix. Okay, so what will be the remaining term at the left hand side? Only R3 divided by Rx. R3 sorry, R3 divided by Rx. Now within 2 minutes our topic will be completed. So R3 divided by Rx will be equal to R1 divided by R2. R1 divided by R2. Yes. So this is the final formula, that R3 R2 is equal to R3 R2 is equal to R1 Rx. So now what is the value of Rx? So from this formula I am writing down here. What is the unknown value resistance formula? Rx is equal to R3 R2 R3 R2 divided by R1 divided by R1 divided by R1 divided by R1. So this is because we know the value of R3, we know the value of R2, we know the value of R1 because they are non-resistances, non-value of resistances. So what is the unknown value of resistance? Just R3 and R2, which are in front of each other, which are in front of each other. So this R3 and R2 are in front of each other. So multiply these two terms divided by the third resistance R1. This is the unknown value of resistance formula for the Wheatstone bridge, and we derive this formula. That's all about the Wheatstone bridge, and I hope you understand. Thanks for watching the video. Thank you very much. I Rakesh Jain from Gyan Vihar University. Thanks for watching the video. Thank you very much.